thank God for his hand of mercy. And today, Sissy was headed to work, and we live in a holler. Some of y'all know where we live. And the road is narrow in places. I've always told her, Sissy, you gotta watch out for other people.
Yes, you
gotta
do.
watch out. She called me and she was crying. And I said, what happened? First I asked her, I said, what happened? What's wrong? She said, Mommy, I almost got hit. She said if it would have hit me, she said it would have took out the whole driver's side and it would have rolled me in over the hill. It would have rolled me in the creek. She said, Mommy, I'm scared. She was hysterical, crying. I said, Lisa, where are you? She said, I'm sitting in a box spot. I said, okay. I said, that was the grace of God that kept me from going over that mountain. I said, you need to thank God. And I told her, I said, sit there and calm down. Quit crying before you start crying again. I said, just calm down, collect yourself. But I thank God for his hand of mercy over my kids.
Amen.